This conference will now be recorded.
Subhanallah, Subhanallah. Thank you so much, Kareem Sahib, for beautiful zikr. With Maula's name, we are starting. Chandrat Mubarak to all friends. I would offer Salawat Nazrana before starting. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad. 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 Ya Mola, Ya Mushkil Kusha, Meherban Mola, we have gathered here, Mola, for your praises, Mola, understanding of your Farameen, Mola. So our heart are united in praises of yours, Mola, in Farman Bardari of yours, Mola, in understanding the deeper meanings of your Farameen, Mola, the way you have asked us to look for essence, Mola. Your Farameens have not just one, 2,000 meanings, Mola. Ya Mola, help us, Mola, be the light on the tongue, Mola. So today we can learn knowledge which we have never heard before, Mola. Ya Mola, it can all happen through you, Mola, through your mercy, Mola. Ya Mola Meherban, help us. Help us, Mola. Be the light in our hearts. Ya Mola, be the light in our ears, Mola, so when we listen, it all goes in our being, every particle of our being, and we are alive, Mola. Ya Mola Meherban, Ya Mola Meherban, bring us to life, Mola. Help us, Mola. Help us, Mola. Help us. Ameen. Today's Farman, today actually it's our 12th session, and we are going to discuss the fourth Farman, Kalam Imam Mubin, and it has been displayed in front of you, the transliteration in English. So what I'm going to do, read Farman and paraphrase it, kind of translate it in English. This is transliteration, and then inshallah today we will be able to take this whole Farman and discuss it, because it's small Farman but very linked. So let us recite the Salawat. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad. मौला मुर्तजा अलीनी मोटाई जुओ एक शख्से नबी साहेब पासे जईने અરજ કરી કે યા રસૂલલ્લાહ મને હક દેખાડો ત્યારે નબી સાહેબે ફરમાવ્યું કે આ પડદાની પાછળ જો ત્યારે મુર્તઝા અલી નમાઝ પઢીને દુઆ માંગતા હતા યા ખુદાવંદ નબી સાહેબની જે ઉમ્મત છે તેઓને નિજાત આપ ત્યાંથી તે શખ્સ આ બનાવ જોઈ નબી સાહેબ પાસે આવ્યો તો નબી સાહેબ પણ ઊંચા હાથ કરી દુઆ માંગતા હતા કે યા ખુદાવંદ જે મૌલા મુર્તઝા અલીની મોહબ્બત રાખે તેના ગુનાહ માફ કરો અને તેને દીદાર આપો. So Imam Sultan Muhammad Shah, is explaining the exaltedness of Maula Ali. And he literally says that, see, look at Maula Ali's exaltedness and reflect upon it. That there was a person who goes to the Prophet Muhammad and he says that, show me the truth. He asks, show me the truth. And Prophet Muhammad says, go see behind this curtain, behind this veil, behind this hijab. And when that person goes behind that veil, he sees Maula Murtaza Ali uh, reciting namaz. And then at the end, he's praying, raising his hands and praying that, oh Lord, whoever in Nabi's Ummah, those who follow Prophet Muhammad, take them to salvation. When he sees that, he returns back to Prophet Muhammad. Now he sees Prophet Muhammad also praying, raising hand, and he says, oh Lord, those who love Maula Ali, forgive their sins and grant them your didar. ત્યારબાદ મૌલાના હાજરી ઇમામે ફરમાવ્યું, નબી સાહેબને અગાઉ મૌલા મુર્તઝા અલી કુલ નબીઓની સાથે બાતુનમાં હતા અને હઝરત નબી મોહમ્મદ મુસ્તફાના વખતમાં જાહેરમાં ભેગા હતા. અસલ કાંઈ નહીં હતું ત્યારે મુર્તઝા અલીએ નાનો રૂપ ધારણ કર્યો હતો. After that, Maula says that before Prophet Muhammad, Maula Murtaza Ali was in Batin. But he was with every prophet before Prophet Muhammad. But with Prophet Muhammad, the change is that he was in Zahir. He was physically manifested with Prophet Muhammad. Then Maula says, when there was nothing, Kai nahi hatu. At that time, Maula Murtaza Ali has નાનો રૂપ ધારણ કર્યો હતો. He was young. He was manifested in a young age. નાનો રૂપ ધારણ કર્યો હતો. અને આના સમાર્થમાં મૌલા હાજરી ઇમામે ફરમાવ્યું. After that, Maula says, એક વખત એક કદાવર અને જોરાવર દેવ રાક્ષસ હતો. તે જેને જોતો તેને મારી નાખતો અને લોકોને બહુ સતાવતો હતો. I think this is a story. Maula Bapa is telling us a story, beautiful story. But let's discuss this so we can relate to the story beautifully. First, Maula says that look at Maula Ali's exaltedness. Sometimes when we have Imam with us, we are born in Ismaili Tariqa, and we've always heard about Imam. We, listen to Farman. What happens when we get Maula's blessings so easily, we take it for granted. So we don't see Maula as the way we ought to see Maula. And due to that, Imam sees that mistake of ours, so he is actually drawing our attention and asking us that look at his exaltedness. Do not think Imam is just like us, an ordinary human being. And then Maula is telling us about a story that there was a person, as I told you, that he wanted to see the truth. And the truth he sees is that Maula Ali is praying for the Ummah, those who follow the Prophet Muhammad, for their salvation. Now, we as Ismailis, we did talk about that we believe in cycles. And Quran says very beautifully in Surah Hud that Allah created this world in 6 days, and on 7th day he sat on the throne. And Allah's day, according to Quran, is of 1,000 human years. Each year in the Quran is actually represented by a Natik. Natik meaning a prophet who brings Sharia. And these are 6 Natik: Hazrat Adam alayhi salam, Hazrat Noah alayhi salam, Hazrat Ibrahim alayhi salam, Hazrat Musa alayhi salam, Hazrat Isa alayhi salam, and Prophet Muhammad. So these are 6 days of Allah. Now, very interestingly, this gentleman who goes to Prophet, he says that show me the truth. and the truth which is shown behind the veil. Now, when we read this story, we may presume that it's a physical story, meaning that somebody was going, removing the veil and looking behind the curtain. But was it a physical curtain or a spiritual curtain? Look at the question this gentleman is asking. Show me the truth. How many of us truly say or ask this kind of question that Mola, show me the haq? It's a very powerful question to seek the truth. And this gentleman is asking Prophet Muhammad, show me the truth. And when he is able to remove the curtain, nobody can see the truth just like that. They have to have the ability to remove the veil. There are very many kinds of veil. And just to keep it very simple and relatable to us, our being is at three levels: physical, spiritual, intellectual. So there is a physical veil, there is a spiritual veil, and there is an intellectual veil. If one is able to remove these veils, they will be able to see the truth. And the truth was, very surprisingly, he sees Maula Ali praying for whole ummah to be taken to salvation. Now, when we understand there are 6 days of Allah, which represents the six nafil, those who do not accept the Prophet Muhammad, those who stay with the fifth day, fourth day, second day, whatever days, will not get to salvation, those who do not accept the Prophet Muhammad. Why? Because that is the prayer of Maula Ali. That is the haq. Those who will follow the Prophet will be taken to salvation. That is the prayer of our Imam. So very interesting prayer that we have to accept and follow the Prophet Muhammad. Now, when we look at the Islam religion, we see that there are two major sects who followed the Prophet. Number one, Sunni, and number two, Shia. And we all are Shia, Ismaili, Nizari Muslims. So there are 72 sects in Islam according to Prophet Muhammad. So this gentleman who is able to remove the veil is able to see how Maula Ali is praying for Ummah to get to salvation. Now we can pause and ask question. The whole Ummah will get to salvation? But then wait and see what happens next. This person, now when he goes to Prophet Muhammad's prayers, very interesting. Prophet Muhammad says that, O Lord, those who have love of Maula Ali in their heart, forgive their sins and give them didar. The way our Peer says, Mara Moman Bhai ne dejo bihisht didar. Forgiveness of sins and giving them didar. That is actually paradise. If there is no sins, we are one with Imam in paradise. So that is exactly what Peer is teaching us. Alhamdulillah, in this Farman, Maula Ali is, Imam Sultan Muhammad Shah is actually telling us, look at the relationship of the Prophet and Maula Ali. And through that, you will be able to identify, recognize the exaltedness of Maula Ali. Maula Ali, Prophet Muhammad is praying that those who love Imam, they are the ones whose sins would be forgiven. They are the ones who should be given the didar. So all those who followed the Prophet, all the Ummah who followed the Prophet, they did the right thing by keeping in continuation of the chain of the light. First, in front were Natikan, Natiks, the prophets. With Prophet Muhammad, Imamat was announced. Maula Ali, Zahurat happened. And Prophet Muhammad is saying that those who continued to walk on the chain of the light had reached to Prophet Muhammad, but if they do not love Maula Ali, they are going to not progress. How? Because the prayer says that those who love Maula Ali, their sins would be forgiven and they will be given the didar. Meaning, the way we talk about Salik, the one who continues, this is exactly the continuation of the Mu'mineen, those who seek haqq, those who seek truth. After the Imamat announcement, Zuhurat of Maula Ali, those who do not follow the Imam till Shah Kareem, they stay with Shah Kareem today, they will not be able to get to salvation the way Imam had prayed for us. Those who accept Maulana Ismail or Maulana Mehdi and after that they stop, they did follow the Prophet Muhammad, but they stopped in between it for Imam, they will not come in this category. This category only represents those who believe in Shah Karim, because Shah Karim is the present living Imam. Those who believe in Shah Karim, automatically they believe in every Imam and the Natik actually. They all believe in Adam, Noah, Ibrahim, Musa, Isa, and Prophet Muhammad. That is different if they don't have the knowledge of it, but accepting Hazrat Imam and doing the Bayat of Imam, actually it is the continuous chain according to the verse of chosen, I Istafa from Quran, that Allah has chosen Adam, Noah, family of Ibrahim and family of Imran. That is the chain of the light which is continuous. And today it is the time of Imamat. Zuhura happened with Maula Ali. So keep that in mind, that continuation is very extremely important. Then Maula um, is telling us that Maula Murtaza Ali was with every prophet. Maula Murtaza Ali, Imam, was with every prophet. However, with Prophet Muhammad, Zuhurat happened. We all understand that at Gadir Khum, announcement of Imamat happened. Imam was always present. We have learned that in every prophet's time, there was Imam with him, because Prophet is made natik actually by Isma Azam. So who was giving them Isma Azam? Imam was giving them Isma Azam. But because it was the time of natik, Imam stayed kind of behind the natik. They were quiet. They were hidden from the eyes of people. Not that people did not know Imam was present. There were people like Prophet, like natik. They knew Imam was present. So the whole Zahurat, the way it happened during the time of Gadir Khum, it was not the case before Prophet Muhammad. So Maula is actually telling us, giving us the lesson from history and telling us that Imams were present with all the Natikan. However, Zahurat happened with Prophet Muhammad. And then he says, Asal kai nahi hatu. Now this is a powerful lesson Imam is giving us. When there was nothing, it was La, nothing. At that time, Maula Murtaza Ali nano roop dharan kariyo hato. Maula is telling us that when there was nothing, Imam has taken the sarup, the tajalli, or manifested in a very young age. And then Imam is actually telling us a story, that what he meant when he gave us this context that he was young. Now he's talking about the young age, but there is much more behind this story. So let us understand the story first. And Mola is telling us, Ek okad ek kadawar ne jorawar dev hato. There was a time, once upon a time kind of, that there was a very tall and very strong, strength-wise, there was a dev. Dev is like uh, strong, powerful man actually. But here the transliterator, he says Rakshas. Now, because Jamaat does read Hindu literature, so according to the definition of Dev, it was Shaitan, Rakshas, Shaitan. But remember, whenever we study Quran or whenever we study Farameens, we don't read brackets as per se. Why? Because brackets are put in by those who are working on Farameens transliteration or translation. It's their intellect they are using. So we should never read in Quran or Farman brackets, just to give you this learning, which is very important when we study. Otherwise, we are taking their opinions in our heart and blocking our mind. We got to keep our mind open, and with name of Imam, we may be able to understand much more than this person who had done this khidmat. We are grateful for this person. Shukran lillah, alhamdulillah. We have to pray for those who do these khidmat because it is due to them that we have something in English in front of us. Alhamdulillah. So, એક વખત એક કદાવર અને જોરાવર દેવ હતો તે જઈને જોતો જેને જોતો તેને મારી નાખતો અને લોકોને બહુ સતાવતો હતો. Whoever he would see, he would kill them. And that's how he was really creating problems for people. He was really stressing people. એક દિવસ 9 વર્ષની બાલ્ય મોલા મુર્તઝા અલી ચાલ્યા આવતા હતા. One time, what happens, Maula Ali is 9 years old and he is walking, coming towards him on the path. રસ્તામાં દેવને જોઈને પૂછ્યું, ક્યાં જાય છે? ત્યારે દેવે કહ્યું, પહેલવાનો સાથે કુસ્તી લડવા જાઉં છું. ત્યારે મુર્તઝા અલીએ ફરમાવ્યું કે આવ મારી સાથે કુસ્તી લડ. So this Dev, Maula Ali, when he sees him, he says, where are you going? He says, oh, I'm going to fight with all the bodybuilders, Pelwan, right? And Mola says, okay, if you're going there, first fight with me. ત્યારે દેવે મુર્તઝા અલીની નાની ઉંમર જોઈને જવાબ આપ્યો કે તારા સાથે શું લડું, શું કુસ્તી લડું? તું બચ્ચો છે. હું તો મોટા મોટા પહેલવાનો સાથે કુસ્તી લડું છું. When he sees Mola Ali says, how do I fight with you? You're a child, you're a young man. And I go fight with, strong, powerful, built bodybuilder man. And ત્યાર મુર્તઝા અલીએ ફરમાવ્યું કે જોઉં તારા હાથમાં કેટલી તાકાત છે. And immediately Mola says, let me look at your hand. Let me see how powerful is your hand. If you know the Kushti Pelwan, they always will start with the hand, right? So Mola says, let me look into your hand. How powerful is your hand? પછી તેને એક હાથ પકડી તેના ઉપર આટલો બધો જોર આપ્યો કે દેવની સગળી તાકાત ખલાસ થઈ ગઈ અને બીજો હાથ પાછળથી પકડી ખજૂરની રેશાથી બંને બાંધી દીધા અને ફરમાવ્યું કે તું તો કહેતો હતો કે મોટા મોટા પહેલવાનો સાથે કુસ્તી લડું છું પણ તારામાં તો આટલું પણ જોર નથી. So what Maula Ali says, let me see in your hand how much power or strength do you have. And then Maula Ali holds his one hand and presses it so much, so powerfully that all his strength, this strong built man, he's not able to fight with Imam. And what Maula does, takes his hand and takes it behind him and then gets another hand and ties it with the fig tree branches, and he ties it. And Maula says that you said you were fighting with all these bodybuilders and Pelwan. You have no strength in you. આમ ફરમાવી Maula Murtaza Ali તેની નજર આગળથી અદૃશ્ય થઈ ગયા. He disappears. Maula Ali says that and he disappears. આ જોઈ દેવ અહીંથી હાથ છોડાવવા દોડાદોડ કરવા लाग्यो પણ કોઈ તેને હાથ છોડી શક્યો નહીં. After that, this Dev is running around here and there, seeking help, but nobody is able to untie his hands. And then finally, દુનિયામાં જેટલા પૈગંબરો જાહેર થતા હતા તેઓને પાસે આ દેવ પોતાના હાથ છોડાવવા જાતો હતો ત્યારે જવાબમાં તેને એ જ કહેવામાં આવતું હતું કે જેને તારા હાથ બાંધ્યા છે તે છોડી શકે. So he would go to all the prophets who would manifest, all the prophet, Hazrat Adam alayhi salam, Hazrat Noah alayhi salam, all these Natik, and there were 124,000 Pagambers, prophets, major prophets and minor prophets. That's another way of, distinguishing between 124,000 prophets who are minor prophets because they don't bring their Sharia, whereas 6 Natik brings their book, their Shariat, their laws. So this Dev would go to every prophet seeking their help to untie his head. And what would he be told? You have to return back to that who had tied your hands. જ્યારે આખર જમાનામાં પૈગંબર નબી મોહમ્મદ મુસ્તફા દુનિયામાં જાહેર થયા ત્યારે આ દેવ તેમની પાસે આવીને અરજ કરી કે યા નબી સાહેબ મારા હાથ છોડી આપો. ત્યારે પૈગંબર સાહેબે ફરમાવ્યું કે તારા હાથ કોણે બાંધ્યા છે? ત્યારે દેવે બનાયેલી હકીકત કહી સંભળાવી અને કહ્યું કે દરેક જમાનામાં પૈગંબર પાસે ગયો પણ તેઓએ આપણી પાસે જવા કહ્યું અને કહ્યું કે જેણે આ હાથ બાંધ્યા છે તે જ તેના છોડાવી શકે. આ બનાવને હજારો વર્ષ વીતી ગયા છે અને હવે હું આપણી પાસે આવ્યો છું. So he reaches to Prophet Muhammad finally and he says that please untie my hand. Prophet says, can you recognize the person who tied your hand? He says, yes. And then he tells the whole story to Prophet. And then he says, Mola, to begin with, Mola says, when the end time came, he reached Prophet and he is telling that in every time, darik zamana, every prophet who had come, I went to their time seeking to get untying of my hands, but nobody could do it and they would always instruct me to come to you. And that's how thousands of years have passed and I have reached you now. એ સાંભળી નબી સાહેબે ફરમાવ્યું કે જેને તારા હાથ બાંધ્યા તેને તું જોવાથી ઓળખીશ? ત્યારે તે દેવે કહ્યું હા. Prophet Muhammad says, would you recognize? He says, yeah, I will recognize the one who had tied my hand. And he actually explains the looks of the young kid who had tied his hand. ત્યારે પૈગંબર સાહેબે મૌલા મુર્તઝા અલીને લાવવાનું ફરમાવ્યું. મૌલા મુર્તઝા અલી તે સામે 9 વર્ષની ઉંમરના હતા. તેઓ ગુલામના ખંભા ઉપર બેસી પધાર્યા. When Prophet Muhammad calls Maula Ali was 9 years old at that time. 9 years, he's a young child. He came and he was sitting on the, Prophet's companion's shoulder. Because at that age, Maula Ali used to live with Prophet Muhammad. If you have studied history, his father passes away. And Prophet Muhammad takes the responsibility of taking care of Maula Ali. So Maula Ali actually used to live with Prophet Muhammad. And Maula Ali is sitting on the shoulder of a companion and he's brought. Maula Murtaza Ali ne જોઈને તે દેવ ધ્રુજવા लाग्યો અને કહ્યું કે આ તે જ છે કે જેને મારા હાથ બાંધ્યા હતા. પછી પૈગંબર સાહેબે મૌલા મુર્તઝા અલીને ફરમાવ્યું કે આ દેવના હાથ છોડી નાખો અને મુર્તઝા અલીએ તે દેવના હાથ છોડી નાખ્યા. When he sees Maula Ali entering in the room on the shoulder of a companion, he starts shaking. He says, this is the child, this is him who had tied my hands. And then Prophet, commands Maula Ali to untie his hand. And Maula Ali unties his hand. આ બનાવથી તે દેવને ઈમાન આવ્યું અને તે મુસલમાન થઈ મુર્તઝા અલીનો મુરીદ થયો. Now very interestingly, Maula says that this Dev, when sees this miracle of Maula Ali to untie his hand, which was not done by any prophets at any time, then he accepts Islam and he becomes Muslim. Then Maulana Sultan Muhammad Shah says, તમે જોવો કે આવો કાફર જેવો દેવ મુર્તઝા અલીની કામિલિયત જોઈ તેના ઉપર ઈમાન લાવી મુસલમાન થયો. સુબહાનલ્લાહ, અલ્લાહુમ્મા સલ્લી અલા. Now Maula is concluding this Farman and he says that you all see that how this powerful, strong kafir Dev, when saw Maula Ali's kamiliyat. The word kamil is from complete, kamiliyat. In totality, completeness, complete, the proper word would be complete in its utmost highest sense. Because This word tells us, this is kind of superlative word, meaning that there are degrees, there are darajat. But this kafir, Dev, sees Maula Ali's complete recognition, complete marifat, and that is why he has now firm faith and he becomes Muslim. So let us understand, behind the veil of this story, Imam is teaching us how many concepts, and knowing that we are in general session, how many concepts we can talk about. Alhamdulillah, this story we have understood it in English, so let's just realize what Imam is talking about. This Dev. Now this Dev cannot be a human because human body dies. It cannot be shaitan as per se because we are not listening to any bad deeds except that he was not a believer. Except he was not a believer. There are degrees, right? In Kafirin also there are degrees. But the way Imam has talked about this Dev, that due to this miracle of Maula Ali tying his hands and untying his hands, he becomes a believer. Is it limited to him not having Iman or being a kafir, or more than that? The story, the way it's been described to us, there's definitely more to it. Now, what is more? Are we able to see that? And the way Imam says that Maula Murtaza Ali, he was always present, he was not manifested, and he was young at the age of 9 years old. And this Dev is fighting other people, other Pelwan, and Maula Ali very easily ties his hand. So Imam Sultan Muhammad Shah, when he's saying that Maula Ali was 9 years old, why is this 9 number is given to us? Number one, ninth in the ranks of Hudud-e-Din, hierarchy of religion, is the number of Asas. It is a number of Asas. Maula Ali's function is of Asas. Asas is a rank of Imam who gives Tawilat. Asas is the rank of Imam who gives Tawilat. Whenever there is an Imam with Prophet, with Natik, who brings the Sharia, the Imam who is with them, they give Tawilat. Meaning, what is the deeper essence meaning of that Sharia? Maula Ali was with Prophet Muhammad. With Hazrat Adam alayhi salam, it was Maulana Hunayd. With Hazrat Isa alayhi salam, it was Maulana Shamun. So what I'm saying, that with every Natik, there was an Imam who would give the deeper meaning, the tawilat, the essence, mugs, the way Imam says, tame mugs khao, would give to Jamaat, those who would follow the Natik, they would give the tawilat. So number 9 here is actually telling us to pay attention to it. Why 9 years old? Why not 8? Why not 7? If it was a child, the child could be 6 years old, it could be 9 years, 8 years old or 10 years old. Why specifically 9 years? Because Imam is teaching us about the talim, about the recognition of the Asas Imam. Remember, Imam, when gives us Faramin, they are not without wisdom. It is full of hikmat. And the way Imam has told us that every line, when you study, there are 1,000 meanings. Can you imagine 1,000 meanings? 1,000 meanings? So those who are very interested in Faramins, they have attended Farman class, I am sure that you do know some Tawilat. But I hope that in this class, when you listen to this Tawil, some of you will be very shocked to hear that 9 actually means the rank of Asas Imam. So here we all are smileys. This Farman is given to Smiley Jamaat. Do we not love our Mawla? Do we not know the exaltedness of Imam? We do. So why would Mawla give us a Farman about the exaltedness of Mawla Ali? Because Imam is asking us to find the deeper meaning of this Farman. And the number 9 represents the number of Asas Imam. So in other words, behind the veil of this story, the way this Farman started, if you remember the way Maula says, the first line, Maula Murtaza Ali ne motai jo, identify the exaltedness of Maula. See, reflect on the exaltedness of Maula. What is that exaltedness? Because Imam Maula Ali was not an ordinary Imam. He was Asas Imam. The rank of Asas Imam is actually higher than other Imams. So here in this story, Maula is actually telling us to seek deeper, find the truth, because this man, somebody is unmuted. This man, whose story Imam is telling us, that he was seeking haqq. Behind the veil of that man, Imam is telling us, seek the truth. And in order to help us to seek the truth, Maula is talking about the ranks in Hudud-e-Din, and their age 9 is actually represents the Asas Imam. Asas Imam who gives the Tawilat. So that's one thing. And then Imam is telling us this story, which is like story for children. The way when we hear about Quran, we say it is not the book of story, it is the book of guidance. These are Imam's Faramin. Imam is not telling us just the story. There is much more behind this story. So actually, through this story, Imam is teaching us the lesson of Hudud-e-Din, number 1. Number 2, the rank of Maula Ali. And then the strength of Maula Ali. Now, physical strength, we have heard the stories of Maula Ali, the valor, the bravery of Maula Ali, the miracles of Zulfikar. We all have heard, La Fatah illa Ali, La Saif illa Zulfikar. But that was almost 1400 years old. How does it help today? On May 20th, 2023, to read this Farman and praise Imam for his physical bravery does not logically make any sense. So what is being told to us here? It is the strength in the batin, the one who can take us to salvation. Remember the dua which Maula Ali is saying, that those who follow the Ummah take them to salvation. And then dua of Prophet Muhammad, those who love Maula Ali forgive their sins and give them dida. This is the Maula Ali we are talking about. Through this story of Dev, whose hands were tied, who thought that he was very strong and powerful. And after the hands being tied, he's traveling in time. Very interesting. He's traveling in time. He's going to every prophet, seeking of untying of hands. Are we talking about a person, human? No. Was it a jinn, like invisible being? No, because we are listening to a story where he's visible, his hands are tied visibly. Meaning, behind the veil of Dev, actually, Imam is teaching us about salvation of the soul. The souls which are created are tied. Their hands are tied with not having the recognition. When one would reach to the end time, when the cycle is ended, as Prophet Muhammad is the last prophet, his title is Khatamun Nabiyeen. He is the last prophet in the lines of Natik, the one who reaches the prophet. And very interestingly, Maula very clearly says, Jare Akhir Zamana ma Paigambar Nabi Muhammad Mustafa, Dunya ma Zahir Thya. The soul had to reach to Prophet Muhammad. Do you know that Islam, when we talk of Islam, Islam is like a child which was given birth at the time of Hazrat Adam alayhi salam. Islam was given birth at the time of Hazrat Adam alayhi salam. It was a baby, it was an infant. Now, infant continues to grow, and the completion is at the time of Prophet Muhammad, because he's the sixth Natik. After that, there is no Natik. And then seventh day, Allah says in Quran, seventh day, he sits on the throne to test people in their knowledge and in their deeds. So when Imam is talking about Akhir Zamana, remember the first Farman, Mawla starts in Kalam Imam Mubin, when he himself is almost 8 years old, and he says, this is the end time. He announces the end time. So he's teaching us the talimat of end time. And we had discussed, end time means the time of Qiyamah. And Mawla is teaching through this story that the end time where Pagambar came and Zuhurat of Mawla Ali happened. That's the most important about the end time. That the time, that infant which was born during the time of Adam, he has grown to the extent that he is a young man. He's a young man. And after Prophet Muhammad, those who believe in Ali, those who believe in Ali as Zaman, they are the ones who will be taken to salvation. The key concept is that those who would love Ali, who would love Ali as Zaman, Ali of Qiyamah, Ali who manifested in Qiyamah, those who would love Ali, their sins will be forgiven and they will be the ones who will get the didar. Why? Because they have completed the circle. Those who accept Shah Kareem, those who recognize Shah Kareem, will be able to say that they have completed the circle. Those who do not believe Maula Ali, those who do not believe Maula Ali, the Farman, the way it's teaching us, they are somewhere in incomplete cycle, in the circle of incomplete cycle. Meaning, Imam is actually teaching us about this Dev, that he went to every Paigambar for seeking salvation. But he had to come to Prophet Muhammad. And then it was only Maula Ali. It was only Maula Ali who could untie the hands. Untying meaning what? Azadi. Freedom, salvation. Tying hands, not being free. So that's a beautiful and powerful lesson Imam is actually giving us in this Farman. There is so much in this Farman that it's mind-blowing. There's a concept in Quran, and if those who have studied 99 names of Allah, you would be familiar with the names Al-Qabiz, Al-Basit, the one who folds and unfolds. It is habit of Allah, he folds and unfolds. So in this time, actually, when we read this story, this Dev's hands were untied, meaning that he had reached to the time when it was folded, meaning his soul, which had started the journey from the time when there was nothing, when Maula Ali was there. All the souls were with Imam. Imam is the ocean of the soul. And then that is the world of oneness, that is the world of monoreality. But from that world, we all were created in Alame Khalq, the world of creation. There was Alame Amr. When the Amr came, the world was created. And this creation has to now return back to the origin. All the souls are from Imam. He is the Nafs-e-Kul. And from that Nafs-e-Kul, all the people are created and they have to return back to the Imam. That is the folding. That is the untying of the hand. That is the salvation. But it depends on reaching to Maula Ali and seeking his recognition. Without the recognition of Imam, it is impossible to realize how the soul will get to the salvation. So in the story of this Dev who continued to go from one time to other time, but finally he reaches to Prophet Muhammad. And when he sees the Kiramat, the Kamiliyat of 9 years old child, meaning the Asas Imam, he starts shaking. His soul experiences this earthquake in his being. Whenever we recognize, when we go through the journey of recognition, our soul has to go through so many so many stages of recognition, physically, spiritually, and intellectually, to be able to realize what is the true recognition of Imam, what is his kamiliyat. And this Dev had finally come to Maula Ali, and through the hukum of Prophet Muhammad, the Asas Imam, the Ali Zaman, had untied his hands. And that miracle, when Dev sees it, he is able to accept the deen, the Islam deen, and he becomes Musliman. The word Musalman is to submit, So he completely submits himself to Imam. And then Mola says, Tame jo e kafir je wo de Murtazali ni kamiliyat joi tena upar iman lavi Musalman thi. Even if those who are kafirin, who are unbelievers, if they were to see, if they were to recognize, if they were to realize Imam's status as nafsikul, aklikul, complete in everything, of course they will become believers. So there is no kafir sitting in Jamaat. There was nobody non-smiley sitting in Jamaat. Why would Mola tell us about kafir becoming believer? They were all sitting, those who were believers of Imam. But remember, when Imam is telling us this Farman, there is a reason. There is a reason that if the Iman is not at that stage, meaning it is like having no Iman, being born in Ismaili Tariqa, that's it, Ismaili, Jama khane jaate hain, ibadat karte hain, that's it, that's what dete hain. It's all happening because it has been taught by parents at blind faith level. Definitely, blind faith is also important, it is needed. But due to today's time, even those practices are missing in families, like blind faith level. And at that time, Imam Sultan Muhammad Shah, seeing those, during even that time, Imam is referring to kafir. So kafir is not someone who, kafir is also a broad category. Simply here, kafir means unbeliever. Not having complete belief, the opposite of that would be kafir. So if someone does not know the kamiliyat, the Imam's exaltedness in its complete totality, actually are kafirin. Because they've not understood, they've not recognized Imam's true marifat. There are darjat of unbelief as well. Are they present in Jamaat? Imam is saying it. I'm not saying it, Imam is teaching us, meaning it is there. So what is the lesson for us today? That we do need to understand Imam's Farameen. We do need to understand Imam's Farameen to realize what Imam is actually teaching us about the recognition of Imam. Only those who will reach to Maula Ali in complete recognition, they will be the one. About them, Maula Ali is praying, the Ummah of Prophet should get to salvation. And those who reach to the Prophet, who is the Natik is praying, those who love Ali, their sins are forgiven and they have the Didar. So those who love Ali Zaman, those who have reached Akhir Zamana and has the recognition of Imam Ali, Shah Kareem, the Imam of the time of Qiyamah. If that recognition is there in its totality, then they are the ones who will be forgiven and they will get to have Didar. Now, there are very many ranks of people. Even in just what we just concluded, we are able to see within the Jamaat. But those seekers, those who are looking for truth, the way the Farman started, there was a one gentleman who asked Prophet, asked, question, seeking, finding, looking, searching. I want to see the truth. Because when someone asks the question, they say they don't know and they are willing to learn and they have the humility to accept the knowledge and they are willing to learn. Just by asking questions, show me the truth. So those who are seeking the truth, I believe they are here. Otherwise, why would you be here? I do see some on the call, and I hope that we realize when we attend session its completeness. Otherwise, it's done not in totality. Alhamdulillah, His Meherban. So when we are seeking, when we are searching, then only we will be able to get to that stage where Mawla says that if you were to come to Imam with the tied hands, meaning not having the marifat, thinking of self as I know a lot, but when you come to Imam seeking the truth, Imam will not only untie your hand, forgive your sins, and give you the didhar. You will have the recognition of Imam, because what happens when you ask question, humility becomes a part of it, because we don't know. And we are in mature ages, professionals, experienced people, and we say we don't know. That step, that part is so beautiful. We say we don't know. That shows, indicates our humility. We are those who are Musliman, meaning we want to submit to our Imam. And submission starts with humility. If there is no humility, there is no submission. So it starts with humility. So I hope that this Farman was so powerful, so strong that you would continue to reflect on it. There's so much Imam has actually given in this just one Farman. These Faramins are truly mind-blowing, amazing Faramins of Imam. And this is 1885 Imam teaching the Jamaat. Shukran lillah walhamdulillah, shukran lillah walhamdulillah. Ji.
Thank you, Niamat Saiba, for this lovely session. Like you said, it is mind-blowing. I never really understood the Tawil as you just explained it. So it was amazing for me. I have a question which I will leave for later, but friends, if you have any questions or comments, can you please come forward? Okay, so while we're waiting for people to make up their minds as to if they want to ask a question, I was wondering if, because you mentioned about Mawla Ali and the number 9 and the Asas and the Hudud-e-Din, I was wondering if you could say a bit more about the Hudud-e-Din.
Sure. So Hudud-e-Din actually means hierarchy of religion which exists. Our Dais, our Hujjatans have talked about it, and there are 12 ranks actually. which starts first is the mustajib, meaning the one who says, I don't know, I want to learn, is a student, mustajib. And then through that, now after that is mazoon, and after mazoon, there is a title of dai. And it's the dai title actually Imam gave us in the Diamond Jubilee, meaning that this concept of hudud-e-din is something close to our heart, those who are wanting to understand Imam's Farami. So if we understand the hudud-e-din, we would realize why in Diamond Jubilee Imam bestowed us the title of Dai. These are all interlinked. What Imam Sultan Muhammad Shah was telling us about number 9 there in relationship to Maula Ali. Today, when Imam is giving us the title of Dai, bringing us close through his duashis to realize that in Batin there are these ranks do exist. And if we are true seekers, we will be seeking, when we are seeking the haqq, we are seeking the truth, we are seeking actually elevation of our ranks. When we came from the nafs-e-kul, universal soul, we do want to return to our origin, asal mein wasal. And that understanding of that concept helps us to see how there is a ladder. It is a ladder which exists in Batin. And we are climbing up while we are learning these knowledge sessions which are based on Tawil. And when we do that, we are actually coming close to the abode, the house, our makan, asal makan, the original makan, which is Imam, to be one with him. Ji.
याली मदद भाई माँ भाई माँ जैसे ये स्टूडेंट में जो राक्षस थे वो पूरे नातिक के पास जाते हैं और फाइनली फिर नबी साहब के टाइम पे उनको हजरत अली से उनको सेल्वेशन मतलब उनके हाथ छूटते हैं। तो जब हुदूद-ए-दीन समझाते हैं तो असास के बाद नातिक का रैंक आता है। तो ये नातिक से मिलते मिलते फिर असास के पास आए, फिर उनको ये बंधन छूटा। तो इसको कैसा समझना चाहिए वर्मा?
ओके, तो आप दो कॉन्सेप्ट्स को मिला रहे हैं, दो डिफरेंट कॉन्सेप्ट्स को मिला रहे हैं। Let's say in hudud-e-din, what you are saying that question is that if this Dev had been to all the prophets, then he comes to Pagambar, and then Pagambar sends him to Maula Ali, because Maula Ali is the one who had tied his hand. But when we look at the ranks of hudud-e-din, the rank of natik is higher. The rank of natik is higher. So how come natik is not untying his hand and he is sending him to Imam, who is lower rank in hudud-e-din ladder? Very beautiful question. So when we understand different times, and we talked about it, like in the past, during the time of Hazrat Adam or Hazrat Musa or Prophet Muhammad, these were the days, the time when prophets, the natiks, were in front and imams were behind, because it was a time of prophethood, not imamat. Imams were present, but they were not in front. But with Maula Ali, Zuhurat happened, meaning imamat was announced by Prophet and imams came in front. And now in today's time, we have no natik, we have imam. It is the time of imam. So here in this Farman, Imam is teaching us about the end time. And end time, there is announcement of Imamat, Zahurat of Imam. And in that context of time, it is the time of Imam. Those who will recognize the Imam in today's time, specifically Ali Zaman, the prayer of Prophet very interestingly says, because it was the time of Prophet Muhammad, the 6th day of Allah, Prophet is praying that those who love Ali and forgive their sins and give them the da'at. I recall actually there is a hadith. I was talking to a friend this morning, and Prophet Muhammad says that make my day longer, elongate my day until from my ummah there is Imam who would bring equality, who will bring peace to the world. This world which is filled with pain and sorrows. Prophet says that elongate my day until that Imam comes from my progeny. Who is he talking about? Mullah Ali. Through this hadith, he is actually teaching about the recognition of the Noor of Ali, Ali as Zaman, that is Shah Kareem. If we were to recognize the Imam in today's time, then we are automatically Musliman in submission, one with the Natiq, one with the Nafsakul, one with the Aklekul, because all the above ranks are actually encompassed within the Imam. When we are students, when we are learning, we see all the ranks separate and we are learning. But when we are talking about merging and the Noor, we have to always remember this kuliya, this kanun, this law. وَكُلَّ شَيْءٍ أَحْصَيْنَاهُ فِي إِمَامٍ مُبِينٍ. This Dev, his hands were untied by Maula Ali, in whom everything is encompassed, including the nothing. Ji.
Thank you very much. Shukran.
We have a question in the chat. Does all farmans apply to us in today's time? Like you mentioned, farmans are also for education.
100% farmans are for education because these are guidance, and depending on farmans, we have to see, because there are types in farmans. There are farmans about the time, there are farmans about ruhaniyat, there are farmans about physical living, physical upbringing, and there are farmans which are about history. So depending on what kind of farman we are studying, because Jamaat needs all guidance, every aspect. But when we talk of tawilat, and when we talk of studying the Faramins in the light of today's time, all the Faramins, we will be able to find more than what our eyes can see. Or when we read it the first time, these Faramin, or heard it in Jamaat Khana, we will find more in these Faramins. But remember, there is a distinction for sure, that Imam Sultan Muhammad Shah has talked about eat onion or do not drink tea before ibadat. All that are physical farman. But majority of Imam Sultan Muhammad Shah's farman are actually on spirituality, how to progress ourselves in spirituality. And the way when we study Quran, which is almost 1400 years old book, if you read it as is, it will not make sense. That's why we are seekers of ta'wil, seekers of haqq, the truth which is hidden behind the veil. And we are able to find that in Quran. Similarly, in Faramins also, we will find the guidance of today, right now, this day, this time, this era. We will find it. Because these are full of wisdom Faramins of Imam. Hikmat se bharpoor hai ye Faramin. Definitely yes. Ji.
Shukra. Any other questions or comments before we close the session?
यालीमुदत पामा पामा मुझे है ना एक चीज इसमें ऐसा समझ आ रही, तो मेरे को आपसे मतलब समझ सकती मैं ऐसा
जी
कि
जी।
जो ऐसा मुर्तजा अली ए नानो रूप धारण કર્યો હતો तो ये अपन जैसा आज के टाइम में मैं इसको मेरे साथ रिलेट कर ली कि इसमें आजम जो अली पापा मेरे को देते हैं तो वो छोटा जैसा आप सिखाते थे ना कि बच्चे के जैसा होता है अपना इसमें आजम, उसको अपने को बड़ा करना है और अपने को अजाजिल से अभी जो भी मतलब जो अपने को सब गलत चीजें आती है तो वो अभी बहुत बड़ी बड़ी दिखती है और इसमें आजम उन पे अपन फोकस नहीं करते। लेकिन जैसे जैसे हम तावीलात लेते जाते जैसे आप ये 9 वर्ष का आप रिलेट करे तो फिर जब अपन वो तावील के साथ जुड़ते ना तो अपना इसमें आजम इतना बड़ा स्ट्रांग हो जाता मौला की नेमत से कि अपन ये कदावर पहलवान यानी अपने बुरे थॉट्स बुरे काम को बन सकते और अपने इसमें आगे बढ़ते बढ़ते फिर अपने को अली बाबा जो है वो अपने को अपने हाथ छुड़ा देते मतलब ये सब बुराइयां अपनी खत्म कर देते ऐसा अपन ले सकते मैम।
100% ले सकते हैं। And I presume that those friends who have come here, they are from Farman class, and this is the Tawil which is being taught in Farman classes. That think of uh, Maulali Umar Manana Ata. That is our Isme Azam, the strength or the power of Isme Azam, because we don't recognize this word. We don't, again, remember taking for granted. When we don't do ibadat, definitely this kadawar, powerful, tall, strong man will overpower. And that is why in this Farman, the transliterator has put in the bracket Rakshas, Shaitan. So yes, that is the one of the ta'wil. We can understand that we can take this Kadawar Palwan as Shaitan and Isma Azam being so small that Shaitan continues to overpower. But when we study this Faramins with higher knowledge. So remember, us even as Jamaat, when we used to study these Faramins, attend Farman classes, we were younger in our knowledge as well. I hope that those who are here, those who are connected with, our friends and their learning knowledge, they have grown in their knowledge as well. Remember, Isme Azam is our foundation. We can never undermine or speak enough about Isme Azam. But the limitation, what has led Jamaat to only give importance to Isme Azam and undermining the knowledge, the balance has tilted. And Jamaat at times do not give the importance to knowledge. So what Nachis was attempting to do, that see, you already know the importance of Isme Azam. Today can we talk about something higher? Because you already know the importance of Isme Azam. And if it were only about Isme Azam, then this Farman would not be ending by Imam saying that this man had been to different Pagambars. And he comes to the end time. And in end time, Maula Ali is able to untie the hands and relating it to the dua, which is in the beginning. So yes, I agree with you completely. Definitely, that is one of the beautiful ta'wil when we were young in our knowledge age. In the beginning, that is the first ta'wil which is being taught. But when we realize the importance of knowledge, we realize that there's a concept of hududidin, there's a concept of qiyama, there is concept of submission, there is concept of folding and unfolding. So there's so much more, so much more. When we are feasting, like when we are uh, going in a dawat, right? In dawat, you will have different varieties of food. You can eat this, you can eat that, you can eat that. When we sit in ilm majlis, hopefully knowledge which is given at a higher level, it is like coming in dawat. You should be able to taste the higher foods or fruits of knowledge. When we are alone, when we are studying as the beginners, We may reach to Isme Azam and that would be it. That is the practice. But to be able to elevate that word, that Isme Azam, we need knowledge. We need recognition. If we don't have that knowledge, recognition, we will not be able to completely realize the importance of Isme Azam. Isme Azam, which is recited with tongue and limited due to the worldly thoughts. It doesn't go higher than that. Why? Because there is lack of knowledge. It is through knowledge that Mu'min and Sadiq will fall in love with Imam. And the criteria was those who love Ali. Love also has darjat. So remember all these things you got to learn and realize all these are important. So yes, that is a ta'wil, but if we are seekers, what more? What else is there? What is hidden from my eyes? Can I learn more? Can I find more? Can I dig deeper? That is what we did today. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Shukran Ali. Allah. Thank you.
We have a raised hand from Mariam. Do you want to?
Yali Madat.
Alhamdulillah.
First, thank you very much for a very informative talk. I have two comments, and I don't mean to contradict you in any way. Isme Azam leads us to our knowledge. It gives
Yes.
us our knowledge. So it's like zikr. When we sit in zikr, intense zikr, the knowledge comes to us. The peace comes. Whatever it is we are looking for, the knowledge comes through this ibadat and through this zikr that we perform. So the batin knowledge which is given to us is through this ibadat. It's obviously through the interpretations of the farmans, as you are very kindly giving up your time to give to us. But also, I think it is the intense knowledge that has to come, in my opinion, through the ibadat and through the zikr. That's one question. And the other one, well, not question, comment. And the other thing that if you could just maybe clarify for us, when we read Farmans of the Imams and Imam Sultan Muhammad Shah alayhi salam and Karim Shah, we hear the phrase, I am always present in Jamaat Khana. Could you just expand that a little bit for me?
Definitely. No, thank you so much for sharing your thoughts and asking the question. Let's start with your comment because it's a very important comment. If you have heard Nachi's lectures regularly, like today is our 12th session on this Farman book, it is the blessings of Ibadat. It is the blessings of Isme Azam that one starts searching and seeking. So nobody is undermining this Isme Azam. That is our foundation. But I am hoping to treat the Jamaat as those who are accountable, who are mature, and they know what they are doing. We all know the importance of Isme Azam. And we do time to time remind each other the importance of Isme Azam, importance of sitting in Ibadat. It is the blessings of Isme Azam that one starts asking questions. And when they ask questions, which are actually given in the heart of Ibadati moment, they start seeking and they get the answer through knowledge. It is both knowledge with practice of Isme Azam that helps. You are right that it is given in our heart, but not in the sense that it is complete until we have fulfilled all the criteria. When we talk of the example of our Pir Sadruddin, Pir Sadruddin had studied the Quran completely and he had Isma Azam. So physically, he had done studies, knowledge, and he had Isma Azam. Combined both, he reached to the recognition, the highest level of marifat. He became one and converted smileys in Indo-Pak, make them smileys. So without knowledge, having Isma Azam is incomplete in the sense that we do need to have sacrifice, invested time to seek knowledge. Ibadat is extremely important, but ibadat without the knowledge is like having one oar. If we sit in canoe and we only practice Isma Azam, do not seek knowledge, the example would be that canoe would be going in circle. And Pir has actually talked about example of a cow who is fetching water in the well, and the blindfold is put in her eyes, and the cow thinks, oh, I'll be now traveling. I walked so much that I would have reached so many different, past so many different villages, and I'll be at a different place. But because of the blindfold, what is happening, she's going in circle. She doesn't realize when she blind is removed, she sees herself at the same place where she was standing. This is the Gyanan of our Pir, meaning that having Isme Azam, but knowledge at a level of blind faith will limit us. That is the point I'm trying to make, and I was hoping to give higher knowledge, which is hidden in this Farman, which is the rahmat of the name of Imam, that is Isme Azam. So we are not doing one above, one under. They are equally important. They're equally
Thank you.
important.
Thank you. Thank you. And could you just clarify that that the Imam is always present in Jamaat Khana? The reason I ask is that we have, I'm from England, and we have many mobile Jamaat Khanas, which means that we are in public places where the real sanctity of Jamaat Khana is not there, because we have to pick up and relay, and especially in the smaller Jamaat Khanas, and it becomes very disturbing. But one of the members of the Jamaat has asked that if the Imam is always present, why are we having such a headache? And how do I translate this to the Jamaat and say, look, there must be a reason behind this.
Very important question. Thank you for giving the context that makes it easier to give you an answer. When Imam says Imam is present in Jamaat Khana is also in different levels. There are sessions about Jamaat Khana as well. If you are interested, you can ask Kareem, he can help you. So Jamaat Khana one is physical Jamaat Khana. That is there, the Noor is present there. But here in this context, we will have to realize that the Jamaat Khana is within our being as well. And it is the peace, the calmness which is within our being that matters more than the physical Jamaat Khana. The journey starts physically, but the purpose, the objective is to enter into the batin. Imam Sultan Muhammad Shah in his Baitul Khayal Farman says that when you sit in Bandagi, if someone kills you, literally kills you, or there is bomb blast, do not be paying attention to that. You sit in Ibadat and focusing on Ibadat. Meaning that Imam's expectation is that when we enter into Jamaat Khana, let it be physical or spiritual, we are so calm and peaceful, and we are able to connect to our batin so powerfully that it does not matter the environment where we are. So wherever there is Mukhi Sahib, Amar is there, Mukhanima is there, Khana Vadan is there, it is the house of Imam, because that is the Amar. And along with that, due to whatever physical limitation, wherever it is Jamaat Khana. But if we are being bothered by outside world, meaning that we don't have peace inside. So the work is not outside. We cannot change or control anybody in this world except ourselves. So where is the work needed? It is within ourselves. So, as being Amar sitting in the part, dealing with Jamaat, it can become very difficult and, make them understand that it is what matters, which is inside us. When you say, Hai Zinda, you have entered in the Jamaat. Even in our Jamaat Khana, bigger Jamaat Khana, if I may just share an example, not to complain, but just to share as we are sitting as friends. Even in bigger Jamaat, when you enter the prayer hall, you're sitting in Ibadat, there are times you would hear people drinking chai, tea, and laughing. And there are people sitting in Jamaat Khana at Ibadat time. How can anybody do that? Now, we are not talking about outside people. This is proper Jamaat Khana, big Jamaat Khana, and this happens. So, what I'm saying through that example, problems will be everywhere. What is you? Who are you? What matters to you? What matters is which is inside my heart. I have to create that block. And nowadays, in physical world, the way mental health has become such a big issue, anxiety, depression, we are learning, we are being taught more and more. You don't control anybody else. You control yourself. So the work which is needed by that friend who is, bringing this up, actually very humbly, brother or sister, it is inside what matters. We do have to create those blocks and do what we are supposed to do. It doesn't matter wherever we are. Hope this helps.
Yes, because it will allow me to answer on a batin level to them. So thank you very much for your time.
Shukran. Thank you for asking.
Any further questions or comments? I think we can close. Niamat Saiba, we've exhausted the questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for joining. Thank you, friends. Yali Madad. Thank you, Kareem. Yali Madad. Yali Madad.
Mullah Ali Madad. Bye.
Thank you, Annie Alimanda Mama.
Yali Madad.
Thank you so much. Shukr, shukr.
Shukran.